Good morning, YouTube. My name is William Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach, and I want to welcome you to another installment of Supernatural Saturday. We call it Supernatural Saturday because, every day, every moment of our life should be treated like it's magical and super and wondrous. We call it natural because we channel different beings through this channel, and channeling is a natural way of us to be able to communicate with non-physical beings, and everybody has the capability to learn how to channel. As well, we use this as a platform for not only bringing messages through, but for connecting people into different groups and movements, such as the 1 Billion Strong group that we're working with, and other groups around the planet, Spiritual Awakening TV, and other groups that are currently working at elevating human consciousness from the simple point of just body consciousness to soul awareness. It's really funny how things happen when we begin to recognize that the body is not who we are. It's simply the mechanism that we use to communicate through this realm. And the subject came up this morning of suicide, which was really fascinating. And my guardian angel John, who pulled me back from the precipice of suicide almost 40 years ago, came through and said, it's not what people think it is. Suicide is not a product of something being wrong with somebody. Suicide is an effect of someone not understanding how to use their body and their mind properly. And he says this is part of the reason why humanity is struggling. We get caught up in a lot of negative emotions and feelings and ideas and beliefs about ourselves, about the world around us, what things mean. And those emotions affect us. When we're in a state of joy, our bodies are affected a certain way. When we're in a state of sadness, our bodies are affected a certain way. Hi, good morning, everybody. Hi. Yeah, when you begin to realize that your body it's important. He keeps stressing to me, Master Jesus tells me this, Buddha tells me this. It's important to realize your body is your instrument. It is not who you are. Your thoughts are instruments. They are not who you are. It is so important to make that awareness come to life inside of you. For you are the awareness. You are the one that can retrain or re-educate your mind and your body. Do not depend so much on the outside world to re-educate you, for it will educate you in its image. And much of what you see on the planet today in the human realm is still struggling and fear and uncertainty. These must and can be transcended and transmuted deliberately and intentionally. So back to the subject of suicide, which is what came up this morning. When you are facing really dark, negative feelings, it is important to understand that you are the feeler. You are not the feelings. Emotions are your energy in motion. That's all emotions really are. They're just energy in motion. They work a lot like electricity, right? When you flip a switch, the light comes on. When you turn the switch off, the light goes off. When you focus on pain and suffering, you turn that switch on and you become aware of pain and suffering. You remember something that happened to you last week or something that might happen to you next week, and it generates an electrical emotional charge that you might call fear or excitement or joy or sadness. But regardless, whatever you're choosing to focus your attention on is sending an electrical charge to become a certain emotional quality. So in understanding that simple idea, whenever you find yourself facing really strong negative emotional energies in your body, remember, they are not who you are. They're a movement of the energy that you're allowing to flow through your system. And there's very simple ways we're going to discuss in the next couple of minutes that you can begin to actually assume authority over that energy and reutilize it so that it serves you rather than imprisons you. The mental health and wellness movement on the planet is working diligently to try and overcome mental illness. And mental illness has a variety of different causes, including diet. And again, I'm not a nutritionist, but I know from experience that if I'm not eating properly, I get emotionally off. That's why I eat properly. You want to make sure you put the right foods in your body because they'll contribute to how your body feels. It's like if you tightened a clamp on your hand and you made it a little tighter every day and you kept doing that, the pain would increase. Well, the same thing is true when you eat improper foods. If you eat improper foods, you're going to be harming your body, and the body will eventually begin to send you signals that it is in pain, and you want to examine diet as one of the primary steps of starting to correct mental illness. The secondary step for beginning to correct mental illness, and I'm speaking from my own personal journey, from my own personal experience of what worked for me over the years to continually improve my life so I was going up instead of down. And believe me, I had a lot of down in the first half of my life, a lot of downs. And they were really downs, to the point where you're looking at the grave down. And getting yourself to the awareness that you can alter the body with food. You can alter the body with thought and intention. Like if you sit your body in a chair, if you find yourself feeling anxious or nervous, frustrated, stop. Make your body breathe. Tell it to relax. Remember, it is your servant. This is so important. Considering there's 7 billion people on the planet, there's only about 1 billion people that are conscious to some degree that the body is just a mechanism for self-expression. It's not who they are. As you come to the awareness that this is just a mechanism that you can use, you can stop it. You can say, breathe, make it breathe, relax. And I'll tell you something, when you start breathing and relaxing your body, it automatically, stress hormones begin to go down. You begin to change the electrical current, the emotional current in your brain, which then alters the electrical neural chemistry that goes through the body. Just a simple act of breathing. Any of you can do this right now. Any of you could easily take a slow, deep breath right now. Draw it in, fill your lungs completely, and exhale. And as you do, let all the muscles in your body relax. Like give the muscles in your body permission to relax when you exhale, and feel how the body feels when you give it that command. It feels more relaxed. Understand that as you begin to assume authority over your physical structure and what you put into your structure, you'll begin to rebuild yourself. And this is what Master Jesus often talks about when he talks about the resurrection process. He says, if you tear this temple down, I shall rebuild it in 3 days. But sometimes it can take 3 months or even 3 years. In my case, it's 2 years. And what was really meant by that is when we do harm to our body, when we do harm to our mind, we can rebuild it. There are people living in pain and suffering, and they wish they were dead, because they don't know how to live. They don't know how to resurrect themselves. And so the resurrection is really about rebuilding your temple, because this is your divine temple, in which this infinite intelligence is beating your heart and digesting your food and circulating our blood. It does this for us all 24/7. When you understand that alterations in your diet and alterations in how you talk to your body, how you communicate to it, how you teach it to relax, are very important. Once you learn to understand that your body will follow your commands, it has no choice unless you believe it's got more power, unless you believe, my desire for this coffee is I need that coffee. Well, then your body will follow your commands. If you've convinced it and you told yourself 1,000 times, caffeine is so good for me, well, your body's going to naturally want what makes it feel good because you've taught it that makes it feel good. And most addictions have their root in that sense of wanting to feel good. But in reality, it is just the body that's been trained, this is how you're supposed to feel good. So the person continues to do the things that harm them because they are under the belief the body's been trained to think that this is what will make you feel good, even though it doesn't. You drink enough alcohol, you have a horrible hangover the next day, you feel good for a few minutes, but you got the bad. Well, you need to train your body to follow your instructions, to no longer be subjective to its system. And it's got a very simplistic system of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, which is designed to give you information about what's going on in the world around you. Then you've got this wonderful thing called the mind, which gives you information about what's going on within you. And as you begin to play around with the way these things work, making choices about what thoughts will be in your mind, what things will go in your body, you'll begin to feel your power returning to you. Like I said, when I was standing on the bridge looking down at the traffic on the Don Valley Parkway here in Toronto, going underneath me, and I'm ready to jump off, and a voice says, don't jump, and then begins to instruct me on what I need to do, and I follow those instructions, it's pretty profound. Now, every one of us has a guardian angel. Every one of us has divine beings surrounding us, and we can access and tap into them. If we can't find the answer in the system, you can ask for an answer, and it will come. It might come in the form of a book. It might come in the form of a phone call. It might come in the form of you suddenly get an inspiration. But your guides and your angels are with you 24/7. The difference is if you're not listening, you can't hear. It's like my cell phone. If I dial somebody on my cell phone, that dial will tune into a person that's got that number. Well, Master Jesus, Buddha, John, my guardian angel, Archangel Michael, Lady Portia, Lady Athena, all of them have their own unique frequency. They're unique and distinct individuals, just like all of us are. And as you learn to attune your body and your mind to different frequencies of consciousness, you begin to tune into others. I'm just going to take a look here because this has been more wide open, but it came to me when John said to me today that it was really important that we talk about suicide today, that it's not a necessary thing. Yeah, I'll get into the Q&A part of this at the last half of the program today. Today, I wanted to really get clear that it's important we understand that suicide is when the system has no driver. When you are so caught up in the ideas that are residently stored in the system, acquired from either your environment or from your own decision-making process, certain thoughts you had about yourself, you become subjective to that. But you don't have to be. The third mechanism is meditation. When you begin to alter what you're eating and what you put in your body, it begins to make the body feel less stressed because it's now going to feel healthier. Like I drink about 2 liters of this every single morning and sometimes in the evening as well, and then I eat live food most of the day. And then you want to get your mind and body subjective to you. You want to train your mind to think differently than what it is automatically. Most people's thoughts are running on autopilot. Yes, I know. Most people's thoughts are running on autopilot. They're triggered from what somebody else is saying or what they've watched on TV or what they read in a book. Very, very few people on the planet are thinking originally and independently of what they've been taught to think they're supposed to. Now there are, like I said, 1 billion people on the planet awaking today. 1 billion people. And I'm told that with that 1 billion people, humanity can make a huge paradigm shift, or any portion that is clear and intended on that 1 billion people can literally begin to alter the planet and the planetary collective unconsciousness. And that's fascinating when you think about that. It's funny, I got Master Jesus is standing behind me, and he's just got this golden light around him, and he's just saying, keep going to all of you. Keep going to the light. The light is the quality of your thought. The light is the quality of your body. The light is the quality of your awareness. And of all these things, you have dominion. Of all these things, you have dominion. But you must learn to assume authority over your kingdom. For your body is your kingdom, and it is the kingdom of the living God within you, within us all. And so you must sit with that consciousness in your form and work with it. So simply learning to alter what you do with your body and your mind, learning to alter what you put into your body, learning to give it the play it needs. You need to play with your body, to go out and run around and jump and go to things that excite you. Get your body engaged. Your body was built for fight and flight, right? It's primarily programmed for fight and flight. And most of us aren't dealing or living with a society where we have to have that experience of running from something that's going to eat us. So exercise, activity that's rigorous and exciting is really good for your body too, because it stimulates certain hormones and conditions in the body that make it healthier, more vibrant. That's why you see people that are weightlifting or working out regularly or running regularly. Most of them are extremely healthy. But again, everything has to be done in proper measure. Yes. So somebody made a comment about Archangel Michael. He will have something to say a little bit later. But he's just saying, don't worry about it. And as for who you are, dear one, that is known when you know yourself without the name. You do not need the name to know thyself, for it is evident that you are being. You must simply close your eyes and just be. Be out of your mind, out of your thoughts, and feel the light that is you. Thank you, Michael. Okay, it's yeah. So as you begin to understand this, the elegant simplicity of transformation change, and I'll tell you, there are times it can be really hard when you want to stop drinking coffee. One of the things you'll go through if you stop drinking coffee, because caffeine is an artificial stimulant. It's one of the most highly addictive substances that people consume on the planet today. But caffeine, when you stop caffeine, several things will happen. Over the next 24 to 48-hour period, you'll start to get a headache, which is the body now going, I'm missing that chemical. I need that chemical. I mean, the same thing is true whether it's giving up alcohol or giving up methamphetamine or giving up any other addictive substance. There's a similar process. When the body's conditioned to get experience in a certain way, it wants to repeat it. It's a creature of habit. The body is a creature of habit. It likes comfort, security, what is known. That's its programming. You have to override that programming and say, no, instead of coffee, we're going to give you a beautiful, delicious glass of distilled water, remineralized with Celtic sea salt. You start to give the body what it really needs, and it will take a period of time because it's going, but it doesn't taste as good. Your body's going to actually argue with you, and your mind will actually argue, but that's so much nicer, but that feels so good when I drink that scotch. And you have to literally train the body, no, this is not good. And over a period of time, your body and your mind will fall into alignment with your new idea. You just have to be patient with yourself and kind to the body because it doesn't know any better. It's just been taught by you and the environment to do what it's doing, right? And you've got to retrain it to function in the image and likeness of who you truly are. Master Jesus is saying, who you truly are cannot be known by what you know. Who you truly are can only be discovered in the land of the unknown. Move into the places that you are unfamiliar with in consciousness and in thought. Step into that which is unfamiliar. Become fearless in becoming all that you can. Your name shall be known to you when you leave the old house. What do you mean by leave the old house? He's saying the old house are the old ideas, the old thoughts, the old behaviors that have you imprisoned in them. And it is really true. I spent a good 10, 15 years of my life being a serious alcoholic. And it was very difficult breaking out of that. It wasn't until I woke up after being in a coma for 4 days from severe alcohol poisoning that I realized this was going to die. I would not be able to exist here anymore. At that time, I didn't know about angels and guides and spirits and different dimensions and planets. I didn't have that knowledge then. Something inside me knew that I would not exist consciously if the body was allowed to do that anymore. So I had to make a change with a lot of effort. And anybody can do it. So I know that. Whether it's methamphetamine, you're addicted to drugs or alcohol, anybody can make the change if they have the right tools, resources, and people around them. Find beautiful people. They're everywhere. There are beautiful people everywhere. Find beautiful people that you can connect with that'll say to you, you don't need to think that thought. Don't think that about yourself. You're beautiful. Just because you don't look like somebody else looks like doesn't mean you're not beautiful. There's a logic to who you are that says there's only one of you in all of creation. Think about that. We're just a tiny little speck of sand in this cosmos, and yet they're discovering literally trillions of galaxies now. It's like trillions of galaxies are becoming apparent to our scientific instrumentation, and we're just a single molecule in the cosmic body of consciousness, and yet this feels like an extremely vast and incredible realm, and it is from this perspective. As you begin to fall back into alignment with being that which you are, which is love. Life is love. Love is what you are. It's not something you're going to get from somebody else, although you can experience that state with other beings. Love is what you are. Love is what you are. It's what beats your heart right now, right? It's what you are. Getting to that awareness and understanding as you slowly begin to shift yourself, and there's a lot of things that are going to be coming up in the next few months on this planet that are going to give humanity great opportunities to make profound changes, to start to transcend the religious orders that keep us all imprisoned and enchained in ideas that do not truly represent who we all are. Because I know whether you are living in India or the North Pole or South America, we are of one life. We are of one life. And yet we have this individual expression in it. Each of us has a unique individual way of expressing that life that flows through us. And we can change that flow, and it doesn't matter what our body's like. I watched a program the other day where the man was born with no legs. And he's lived a beautiful, fulfilling, wonderful, giving, kind, and playful life. And there are many examples. Body does not define you or your expression. You do. But you have to learn to begin to change what's been put into your noodle. You gotta learn to change what this world has put into this system and rebuild it. You literally have to rebuild your mind, your personality, so that it matches and ennobles the qualities and characteristics that you want to represent your life by. Things I want to talk about. Over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we are going to be doing a series, a twin flame series, a live series, where I'm going to be bringing different mediums that are helping us facilitate in our upcoming courses. I'm going to be bringing different mediums on, and we're going to be channeling the twin flames. And some of the twin flames that we're going to be channeling are going to be Lady Portia and Saint Germain, Master Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Archangel Michael and Faith, Hope and Archangel Gabriel, and 3 other sets as well of divine twin flames that work together on the angelic realms to help humanity. And I'll be posting all the information, the dates and times for that tomorrow on my YouTube channel, so you'll have that information at your fingertips. Because this is the time where the energy of male and female, remember, we get into this illusion that male and female means, certainly male is a physical body that I'm in called a male body, but we've also recognized that there's a consciousness called soul. It's what you are, soul. And this soul has the ability to alter, change time, space, and matter to represent who and what it wishes to express itself as being, right? So we're finding all these different genders and cultures and races and subcultures beginning to evolve from within humanity. And it's because the soul is now beginning to realize, wait a minute, this is a mechanism that I can alter and change to be that which represents who I am. And that doesn't mean I have to be what other people think I should be represented as. So it's important as you get closer to understanding more and more of who you are, that this male and female energy that we all utilize within ourselves, we have the right to express it any way we so choose, provided we're not hurting ourselves or anybody else. And that for me is the axiom that was given to me by one of my first mentors, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Bill Curry, who I lived on an island with up in Lake Scugog. And he said to me, Will, the purpose of life is to obtain maximum pleasure without hurting yourself or anybody else. If everybody followed that rule, we'd be having a party on this planet all the time. We'd be just having fun and doing our things. And we'd be respecting and appreciating each other, because you would never hurt anybody if you're coming from a place of joy and wanting to give joy and not hurt somebody, not hurt yourself. It's amazing what we can do. So that's going to be coming up. And in just a couple minutes from now, we're going to be doing the 1 billion strong meditation at noon today. And I hope some of you have been following, because I follow what's going on in the scientific community. Generally, I'm not a scientist, but I try to follow what seems logical and real and true to me based on observable evidence provided from a broad range of sources. And one of the things I've noticed is that since the 1 billion strong movement started some months ago now, the magnitude of earthquakes have gone down, but the frequency has gone up. So the magnitude's gone down, but the frequency's gone up. When I asked Gaia why is that, she said the load of human collective suffering is being distributed and discharged in a way in which humanity can comfortably sustain it. That release, she means. So she's like, yeah. It's funny when she comes to me. She's literally like the vibration. I feel the whole earth speaking to me. It's just like it's both musical and feminine. It's like this beautiful blend of energy that comes from Gaia. But she says that's what's happening, is the frequency of earthquakes will increase, but the magnitude will stay low, because the collective unconscious energy of humanity is being discharged safely from the planet. She says when we see very large shifts, it's because there's deeply repressed energies in her field, because she tries to transform, transmute, and contain our pain and suffering to the best of her ability, like any mother does, right? When your child's hurt, you do the best you can to take their pain from them, right? She says that's not sustainable anymore. Humanity is mature enough now to begin to awaken itself to its own creative capabilities, to restore itself to love. She also says that is why many of the angelic, many of those from many dimensions are coming here now to work with all of you. Open your heart and your mind. And when she says your mind, she's referring to your higher mind, which is located in the pineal gland, where you can transmit and receive information from different dimensions by activating your pineal gland. But that's another subject. But she says it is time humanity does this, that we take responsibility for our actions, our thoughts, and the emotional energy we choose to communicate. You know, you have a choice. And like I said, I've been with people and watched how bad people can be. And I've also watched how good people can be. And it really is a choice. There's always a choice. And we've created mechanisms on this planet to try and control people so that we can limit our suffering, she says. She says, you create religions and you create organizations that try to control people, but it does not educate them on how to transform or transmute their own energies constructively. So listen, understanding that we as a collective species are literally altering geomagnetic energy on the planet and beyond. You know, this the idea, and people have laughed at me and said, you're insane. When I say to everybody, my guardian angel John 6 months ago told me that emotion is the fifth state of energy. And when he told me that, I just got these shivers going through my body. Emotion is the fifth state of energy. It is non-localized, but it can be localized. It is everywhere present. It's very similar to God consciousness in that it is everywhere present. In some places it's not active, in other places it is. But through each and every one of you, it is always active. If you so choose to focus on an emotional idea or state, you activate emotional energy into movement. And that movement affects all points of time and space simultaneously in different degrees of intensity. Okay, it's funny, I had Dr. David Hawkins came through the other day. I'm going to be posting the video. And he talked about the correlation between energy and mathematics. The simple elegance between mathematics and energy. That with mathematics, he sought to try and understand that which was not understandable in conventional words. But he said that the mathematics separated the creator. It kept him separate from his ability to understand how emotion produces ideas. Certain qualities of emotion produce ideas that can lift you up or bring you down. And that when you're able to harness emotion properly, you get different degrees of awareness, knowledge, information, and consciousness. A highly curious mind that's wanting to know what's out there will pull in different information into their consciousness that allows them to try and begin to understand what it is they're pulling in. I'll post the video because I'm paraphrasing right now. I'm not repeating what he said the other day. So I'll post that video for Monday morning. You'll see that on my YouTube channel. So let's get settled in now. We got like 1 minute. So those of you that understand, we take a slow, deep breath. We bring ourselves in the present moment. We're going to access a feeling of love. Fill our bodies with that, and then project that feeling of love out to the entire planet as far as we possibly can. And just allow ourselves to rest in that feeling for about 30 seconds to a minute. And the purpose of that will be explained right afterwards. But when you move into a state of energy, it alters the molecules in your body, the molecules in the time and space around your body, and as far as your awareness can project it out. So again, now take a slow, deep breath. Hold your breath for a moment. And exhale. Bring yourself into the present moment. Now look inside yourself and call forth what for you is a feeling of love as you understand it. Allow yourself to focus on that feeling. As you become aware of it, breathe it into your body. Expand it into your body. Let every molecule in your body feel this vibration that you call love, that you feel as love. And as you exhale, let that feeling of love expand outward to surround the space around your body. Feel the sensations of that vibration in your body. And then take another slow, deep breath and make it even more intense in your body. And as you exhale, expand it out beyond the confines of the room you're in and the building you're in. Allow that feeling to expand outward. Breathe deeply again, expand it even further. As you breathe in, expand it out further. And as you exhale, expand it out further. Sense or feel that vibration that you call love surrounding the entire planet. Allow yourself to sense and feel that every living creature, and just stay in the awareness of that vibration of love. Just stay in the awareness of that vibration of love. Breathe deeply. And allow that feeling of love in your body to expand out again to surround the entire earth. And breathe it back in. Every single human soul on this planet has some understanding of what love is for them as a feeling within you. Every one of you has an understanding of what the feeling of love is within you. And when you can access that vibration and give it your attention and your focus, it will begin to expand. Much the same way as if I said the color blue to you, and watch what comes up in your mind when you think the color blue, everything relative to the color blue comes to your awareness. Well, so too, when you focus on what you call a feeling of love inside yourself, it begins to expand, begins to grow, because you're feeding it with your energy. Your attention is energy. And you can take that feeling, as we do every day at 12 noon and 12 p.m. or any other time during the day that you like, and you can literally move into that feeling of love and expand it out and surround the entire world with it. And what starts to happen is you actually begin to affect time, space, and matter around you and within you. Remember, it's like if you're listening to a really good song that you like to hear, you'll find yourself swaying to it or dancing to it. Well, same thing is true when you're moving into a vibration called love or joy. You alter the space, the energy in and around your body, and it in turn affects the space and energy around your body. So I think I got cut off there for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I did hit resume, so I do not know where the meditation has a break in it. But follow the simple process of just accessing that feeling of love within your own body, and literally breathe, use your breath to expand and increase the strength and intensity of that feeling. If you do this every day, at least twice a day, you'll start to notice changes inside you. I do it very frequently because that's what I like to experience more of in my life, wherever I am. So practice it as much and as often as you can. So we're going to take Q&A now. Yeah, it was buffering. The error was not, I don't know where the error was. Okay, here we go. Wonderful. Hi, Edmonton. Yeah, I'm excited about the Twin Flames thing. It's going to be really fun, Julia. Yes. Yes. Okay. Oh, past lives. Can I tell you a bit about a past life of yours? Well, I don't know if you understand Vikings very well, but it was actually not as aggressive a life as what you might think it was. You were very, very peaceful. You sought to bring people together in that time, probably around the 11th century, what I'm feeling, the 11th century. Again, we, I loved you too. Christine, it's funny, the song came to my mind as soon as I read your question, Christine. Slow down, you move too fast. You got to make the feeling last. If you know that song, Simon and Garfunkel, that's what came right away. uh, um, uh, oh, you're very welcome, Neil. Yeah, like this, remember, as you learn to assume authority over your thoughts and learn to train your body. Hi, Patricia. Um, yeah, the video did have an interruption. I had a notification that came in that interrupted the stream. So it's not your guys' fault. I forgot to turn one device off. Do I know anything about the new Earth? We are co-creators of the new Earth. Please understand, we are not separate. This body that you are in right now is an extension of Gaia. It is her mechanism. She's given this to us for us to manifest our consciousness through, to learn to alter, transform, change time, space, and matter. To learn to love one another, to learn joy. And we do not have to learn it through suffering anymore. The old paradigm of suffering in order to learn is coming to a close. We know enough about what hurts and what doesn't hurt to make decisions that not do things that hurt us, all right? Or hurt other people. We're at that place. So it's important you come to that. So the new Earth is what we are consciously and deliberately evolving. And there are literally millions of us around the planet that are intending this process. This vibration, this frequency you call love, alters time, space, and matter. Just the same way as anger, fear, guilt, and shame alter time, space, and matter. Fear, anger, guilt, and shame cause a whole other set of creations, like the whole concept of religious dogma and ideologies that restrict and inhibit and limit people or women from being who they really want to be because of a belief system that was based in fear. When we start awakening to the new Earth of love being the dominant expression in human collective consciousness, then we'll start to see a completely different set of organizations and structures unfolding and evolving, not only in human collective unconscious, but we'll begin to see changes on the physical planet itself. We're already seeing those now. Remember, the physical system is a physical system, but it reacts to what interacts with it. If I say to it close, it closes. If I say to it open, it opens. So it's important to understand that matter responds to our thoughts and emotions, right? It really does. Most people, unfortunately, don't know this, and that's why so many of these divine beings are coming forth to so many of us that are saying, "Hey, it's time to wake up and be more clear about it." Yes, absolutely. He says, I am on your team. There's a stone, there's a blue stone that you have somewhere. He's just showing me a picture of a blue stone. If you hold that in your hand, and you can feel his energy, he can come through that easier for you. Because he says you have not developed the, I'm going to use the words crystal structure in your mind. What do you mean? You have to open your third eye to see, Michael. But he says this stone, you will be able to begin to sense his presence and feel him with you. That's important. I don't know what that stone is. It's not. It's kind of like it looks like a sapphire, but also looks like an amethyst to me. So I don't know, but blue stone is what he's just said to me. Important to understand that there's no human being on the planet that's exempt from being able to communicate with divine beings. There's no special person that does it more than anybody else. It's a matter of learning, understanding, and experience. You can literally go to school and learn how to channel. We teach channeling courses. We know many other people that are teaching channeling courses. It can be learned. It's a skill, just like learning to walk or talk is a skill. You can learn to talk to beings that are non-physical. Remember, it's learning how to tune your senses, your non-physical senses, clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience, learning to awaken those senses so you can hear without ears and see without eyes. It's what Jesus talked about. You have eyes but cannot see and ears but cannot hear, because he knew all these other realms of consciousness existed, and that we were limited by this physical one at that point when he was traveling on the planet then. So it's important you understand that. Michael will connect with you anytime, and many of us. Time, space, and matter work very differently. They work very differently when you're not in your body. But how many of you have experienced, all of us have experienced a time where we get really excited about something and time just blows by. And that happens because when you're in a state of love or joy, you get to experience more time faster. You get more time. That's why it goes by so quickly. It didn't just fly by. You experience more of it in shorter time. Conventional science would disagree with me on that, but your experience of it can't be denied, that we experience more time in less space. So learning to move yourself into a state of joy and love deliberately will give you more time and space to experience while you're in the physical dimension. Yes, I understand that. Jessica, I'm not at this moment. I personally am not seeing that. I'm trying to. They're saying that it is not time to say. It is not time to say for you if you will come or not. It is not time for us to say. Cool. What is my next step? Oh, you're very welcome, Don. Again, I'll try and get to as many of your questions as possible. And I think I addressed that one. But yeah, runes, there's when I mentioned to you about that previous peaceful lifetime in the Viking age around the 11th century, it would be really prudent for you to take a trip to Norway. I don't know why that's coming up, but if you ever get a chance to go to Norway, something about Norway is what comes to mind just at that moment. Well, to tap into your guides and your angels there's an actual process. You can learn to do that. There's a deliberate methodology that myself and many others have learned to apply. So yes, you can methodically learn how to listen to your guides, to open up your clairs. There's a simple, elegant process. Now you probably have. We all have the fundamental equipment of sight, sound. Remember, sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, right? And thinking are the physical senses that represent higher faculties, right? So clairvoyance means seeing without eyes, right? Being able to see the auras around hands, to be able to see the orbs, to be able to catch the fairies when they're moving through the forest, right? To be able to see Odin when he's standing in front of you. You have to attune that sense, and there are processes that you can get into. Is there something that he could do right now? Sorry, Michael is saying, dear one, you have to slow this down. You have to slow this down and listen. Slow this down and listen. So that's from Michael to you. Slow the mind down. I totally get that, because if your mind is going blah, 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 it's very hard to hear, right? Try being you've been in a really crowded restaurant or at a dance club, and everybody's talking, your person's 2 feet from you, but can barely hear what they're saying. Your mind can be like that. It can be like a veil between you and your divine team. And every one of you has a guidance team around you. Every one of us does that. Once we understand how to drop the veil. Once you can learn to still your mind, and we go into this in great detail in our courses and classes, we show you step by step how to actually get the mind quiet. You begin to hear when you stop looking at what you already know. When you stop paying attention to what you already know, you start to see things very differently. You start to hear things very differently. But there's definitely a simple way. Get your mind quiet. Isis was with you last night. That's the Egyptian deity. It wasn't male. It was female. I know she can come across that way. When Norma first spoke to my wife, Norma spoke to Isis last summer. Literally, it was like 80 degrees outside in the Fahrenheit scale. It was about anyway. It was really really hot. So she called Isis in, and all of a sudden, the air temperature around one side of her body literally dropped by like 8 degrees. You could actually feel. I could put my hand into the space where Isis appeared and literally feel the presence of that being Isis there. So you'll actually get sensations that will let you know when they're present too. So be mindful of that. But it was Isis, and her energy felt very strong and male to me, even though it was female. So they're not like male and female the way we understand. They are balanced. Most of these beings are highly balanced. Master Jesus is whole and complete in who he is. There's no confusion about that. Yes. Let's see here. Oh, that's a good question, Neil. What country should? Wow. The first thing that they're showing me is Africa. I think it's called the Horn of Africa. Explore it online. They're saying explore it online. It is not necessarily the place, but it is a step. Again, I don't try to interpret the meaning or why they say things. I just let the information flow through, and I've learned to do that. It can be really unnerving sometimes because they'll bring information through. I'll have somebody who's passed on the other side coming through, and they're telling me, "Hey, you got to tell this person I'm not alive anymore," and they're going to find me, and that's it's pretty hard when you're working with people and you got to tell them that something they don't want to hear. So it's not always sunshine and lollipops, but they say every single event is designed for your highest good in mind. When you realize that time, space, and matter are interchangeable, and that you can direct that change, you become liberated. You don't become fear-based. You don't have to worry about anything anymore. Let's see where we are. Excuse me, I'm just gonna sip of water here. Water is very important too. Water is very important. When you come to these lives, I highly recommend you keep water on hand and you drink while this is going on. When we're doing this type of work, when you're interacting with your angelic team, when you're interacting with people that are in non-physical dimensional realms, the electrical usage in your body, the way your body processes energy changes, and your body will need more electrical energy to conduct the information. Therefore, you need water. Water is a conductor. You want to stay hydrated because when your body's using more electrical energy, it's also going to burn off more water. So bear that in mind. I'm trying to get the questions back up. They keep. There must be a set. There must be a setting here. Again, I'm not super technically savvy when it comes to doing the lives and learning all the features. I'm just learning that process now. But it's fascinating. Top chat. Let's see. There we are. There we go. I'm going to have to learn how to keep my chats up. Okay. Well, that's wonderful if you're seeing auras. Green, violet, blue, and pink. They're yeah. You got Lady Portia works with you. Yes. So it's fascinating as you start to take responsibility over your body and your mind, as you start to no longer be subjective to its programming, and most of it's what you've been given. When you stop being subjective to it, you become liberated. So I'm just gonna pull up a couple more questions here. 8 days ago in meditation, I felt 3 times a cool breeze. Who was that? I get the name Jeremiah. I don't know why, but that's who that was. Trying to move you in a new direction. Something about looking in a new direction. So I'm getting the flavor from what he's communicating. I'm getting the flavor that new direction is is one that you've been wanting to go in a new direction, but you haven't known which way to turn. That's it. He's trying to give you the actual nudge, because they'll actually come up and they'll physically interact with us too. I've experienced that many times with Metatron, where I feel it's like he's pushing on my back. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let me ask her. She's showing me. She's pointing a finger in a direction. She's just pointing, saying straight. Stay straight. I don't know what that means for you, but she's saying stay straight. Tell him to stay very straight. Again, I don't know what the meaning of that is, and I don't try to assign my personal meaning. I try to interpret as best I can. You can ask when you get certain there are sensations. Your guides and angels will try and communicate to you in the only way that you're open to it, right? If you're really, I was really closed-minded. I had to get to the place where I was ready to jump off a bridge before I had an opening for them to come through to me, right? And it's different for different people. Some of you might get sudden hot flashes, right? And besides the fact that might mean you're dehydrated, but it could also be one of your angels or your guides or a non-physical being from another dimension coming in to communicate with you. It depends, but you can get them. We teach a sensing energies portion of the program where we teach you how to sense the distinct energies that each of these guides and angels have, because every single one of them is a unique and distinct individual, just like we are. And they will approach you in a way that you're open to receiving them. But if you haven't developed a way of actually feeling and knowing what that process is, it can be difficult to interpret sensations. Because you can be sitting there and all of a sudden you get this loud, like sometimes, like 3 times last night I got this loud whoo in my ear, right? And I'm like, wow, what was this? And then I got, it was the Pleiadians, right? And the Pleiadians were saying, you got to go faster. You got to go faster. You got to put more into this. And so we are. So it can come in different ways. Sometimes you just get a knowing where you just suddenly feel, I got to call this person. I got to do this thing. There are many different ways that you can learn to become sensitive to your angelic team, to your guardian angels, to the different beings. And there are countless numbers of beings. You cannot put a number on the number of beings there are in the cosmos. It's you cannot put a number to it. You can say gazillion, but there's a number greater than that. You can't put a number on eternity, right? And that's why they draw the symbol, the figure 8 symbol as eternity, because it's without beginning, it's without end. Well, it's true for consciousnesses and forms and beings that live throughout the cosmos too, and on all many, many different dimensions. Quantum physics and science now revealing to us all these different realms. Yes, I understand. They keep telling me that I gotta keep going with questions here. There's a question I have to answer before we can go. That's a great question. How do we eliminate bad habits? A great question. By not doing them anymore. Simply just by stop doing them. And it's easy to say, but it can also be easy to do. You got a choice when you got a craving for alcohol or coffee. You can choose water. The body's not used to drinking the water. You're going to retrain it, because if you've got bad habits, your body's been trained to do them. And as long as you know your body's not who you are, you can retrain it. You realize it's like a dog or a cat. It's got to be retrained, and that we have to retrain our body. Even people who have suffered severe traumas, that have lost use of their arms and legs, that fought back and gained the movement, had to retrain the consciousness, the body, to train other cells in the body to pick up the functions of nerves. And what most people don't know is that's actually what happens. They actually condition the very nature of their soul power, their will, literally redirects their DNA, their genes, to restructure the system to function better. Some people give up and some people don't give up. And people that don't give up usually get the results. And it's not a matter of hard effort. It's a matter of feeling how you direct the consciousness at the cellular level. There's like a million things that we can go into about this with you guys. But suffice to say, stop doing it and start doing something, replace it with something that you consciously know is better. Well, I love my chocolate bars. Well, stop eating the chocolate bars. Go out and buy some raw organic cacao and start making natural organic sweets that won't damage your body, and then begin to regulate it. And then instead of putting that in, put more fruit in, put natural sugars in. But this whole world, I mean, think about it. Look at all the holidays that they've created on this planet. The social holidays, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Halloween, all these holidays that are designed around food and sugar, right? Why, right? You'll have to answer that question for yourself, but we have a choice. You know, we do have a choice, but you have to execute that choice yourself. Nobody can make you do it. But one step at a time, and be patient with yourself, because you're going to go back and forth as you retrain, because the body's got a mind of its own right now until you retrain it to a new mind, right? And that's literally what you have to. You literally have to train your body to be different than what you've trained it to be, or the environment's trained it to be. So it is a process. Be patient with yourself. Stop in the name of love. Yes, I love that. That's great. Yes. Again, we are sensitive. We are not separate from the moon and the stars or the galaxies. We are one with it all. That's why this 1 billion movement strong is, and that's why we teach these courses on mediumship, so that you open your consciousness to your higher potential, because we are affecting, as a species, we are affecting each other. Right now, all of us gathered here are having an effect to some degree in the creation. And this is going on everywhere all the time. When we become conscious of that process, we begin to execute choices and changes deliberately and intentionally. And we're doing it all the time, mostly unconsciously. Most people are doing it unconsciously, which is why we have war, why we have famine and fatigue and all that nonsense that goes on, political conflict. It's because we are operating unconsciously, right, as a species, generally speaking. It's time to start living consciously and deliberately, which everybody can do. And we live in really amazing times right now. So yeah, so when that moon energy comes in, you can literally feel the energy of that consciousness known as the moon. We label that physical thing called the moon, but it's an actual consciousness represented as the moon. And when you begin to see life from the perspective of consciousness and energy, it changes the way you start to view time, space, and matter. Then yes, you can have a relationship with the physical sun that heats this planet, and realize that you have a relationship with it. You can realize you have a relationship with these non-physical beings as you learn to become aware of them. And all of these things you can learn. If you want to know more about my courses and classes and stuff and what we actually do there, you can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and get all the information there. We are in an amazing time, people, and I'm really glad that we get to do this together, because it gets to be deliberate. And this isn't just about tapping our guides, it's about how do we live practically in this world? How do we treat one another? What do we do to establish more love in what we think, feel, say, and do? And be able to do that consistently, not only to other people, but to our own bodies. To be able to love your body. Because remember, the way you treat yourself is the way you're going to treat the world around you. And that's just reality. I've learned that one time and time again. The way you treat yourself is the way you're going to treat the world around you. Thank you for the meditation. Yeah, I love all the masters come through during meditations, and we've had Metatron do meditations on opening the chakras up. We've had Master Jesus and Buddha. We've had Kuan Yin. It's been amazing. This last year has been absolutely amazing. Having these beings come through and bring their light to us through the meditations. I got to tell you, when you experience that, I'm getting, they're just giving me a whole kinds of goosebumps right now, letting me know, yes, they're here to do this, not just through me, but through everybody. And once you learn to tap into your team, you're free. You're free to start living your life the way you choose to, rather than the way you feel you have been conditioned to. And I understand, I really do understand what it is to be stuck in alcohol, to be stuck in eating bad foods, to be stuck in eating processed food. I understand it. I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt and gone back and forth, gotten in and out of it. And at eventually some point, it's like learning to walk. You realize stepping this way is much nicer than stepping in that poop over there, right? And because a lot of the stuff we step into is poop. And there'll come a time when you realize it's just poop and you don't need it anymore. You don't need to drink that. You don't need to eat that. You come to the place where you finally make a decision. And when you make that decision, you'll know it and you'll feel it. And you'll wake up in the morning and you start enjoying your life, because you realize, I'm choosing what my life experience is going to be today. I don't know what's going to come to me, but I know that if I'm in a state of love and grace, that there's a pretty good chance that amazing things are going to happen around you. But if you're in a state of fear and angst and guilt and shame, certain things are going to happen around you, right? But you have a choice over that. This is the time of choice, folks. Let's see how we are here. I'm going to take 2 more questions, and then I'm going to call it a day. I'm so grateful you guys showed up today. Yes, you will have your own business. You already have it. They're saying you already have the business now. It will grow. You just have to believe it. Yes, there are feelings that you have to release. It's mostly anger. Oh, wonderful. Empress trees are beautiful. Well, that's all the time I have for today, folks. I want to say thank you so much for your questions, for participating in the Billion Strong movement. I'm sorry about the interruption that happened. I'll make certain that notifications are turned off for that particular function so it doesn't interrupt the connection again. Again, we'll be posting on YouTube in the next during the day tomorrow. We'll be posting the schedule for the upcoming Twin Flame series that will be happening over the next few weeks. And we'll have mediums from our courses that work with us that will be doing these Twin Flames meetings with us. And if you got any questions or concerns about that, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments section below. Anything else that I need to say? Just go forth in love. Start here. Start in there. Start inside you. Love your body. Treat it like the God-given gift it is. Treat your mind with goodness and love and kindness. Don't attack the sadness in you. Don't attack the things inside. Don't try to get rid of them. Those are parts of yourself you need to learn to love and transform. Love transforms, right? And be kind to yourself. Be kind to everybody else around you. Much love, and I will see you guys again during the week when we do the first Twin Flames live, which I think will be Portia and Saint Germain. I'm just not sure which day it is because it hasn't been scheduled in. We always work with our team to pick the dates and times, and it changes according to a range of different things. So tomorrow you'll have a schedule for that, and much love. Have yourselves a great week, and take care. Bye for now.